Well, welcome back to Krown's O-Face Cave. Welcome to all the newcomers here. And surprise, motherfuckers, opens mouth today and swallowed down deep because Bitcoin did hit the low side target from yesterday's late day wrap up, or I'm still kind of figuring out a name for that video, whatever the fuck it is, that 28,500-ish region now coming back up right above 30,000 bucks. So what does that lead us into on the last day of the week? Which means absolutely fucking nothing because Bitcoin's gonna be trading over the weekend anyways, so no rest for you, my dear trader friends. But with that said, we do have the weekly closure for CMEs a little bit later today at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time, and also want to follow up on Ethereum as well. And with that said, I would like to wish you the best and the happiest. Oh yes, also a couple of announcements. Discord, blah, 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 blah. The link's in the description below. There's an alt identifier bot that's a little bit difficult to get past, but think of it as like a very small but very fast IQ test. On top of that, what else do we have? Oh yes, finally, life is going back to a little bit of normality. In fact, I haven't really been talking about this on the channel, but recently we had this like really awful situation with these two dogs that we typically dog sit, and we had to scramble to go find them a house for, well, so that they can live in because something happened to their owner. And I think we finally found a solution, so can probably resume the Twitch streams later today, which the links are shown below for that as well, and can probably be a little more active in the Discord as well. Anyways, on the Krown Chain application over here, which can be found at app.krownchain.net, what do we see? Oh baby, we see a lot of shit. Oh my god, these girthy red dildos, I've forgotten what it feels like, and it is oh so good. Anyways, first and foremost, what do we see? The Fear and Greed Index coming down to a 40 from a 75, quite clearly the lowest read that we've seen in the last multiple months, certainly since October, maybe even September at that point. Also looking at open interest, shaving off another, Jesus Christ, man, $500 million, a little more than $500 million from yesterday to today. I think we were hovering right around 5.3 to 5.4 billion, now coming down to about 4.8 to 4.9 billion in the early morning hours. So once again, people taking profits off this off this insane rally. And then also Bitcoin dominance coming down significantly, which is very interesting here. So we're seeing something that we typically actually don't see, which is Bitcoin coming down, breaking the range, but altcoins in comparison to Bitcoin obviously coming down versus their US dollar value as well, but not as much as Bitcoin, so that Bitcoin dominance actually staying a little bit lower there. Very surprised to see that, and that is actually a really good sign for alts, which I was not expecting at all, to be fair. Anyways, into the data tab we go, and I just want to check out, do we have anything obvious going on right here? Obviously the futures premium over spot price action is completely dissipated, reflecting the market's shift in mentality here. Also, Fear and Greed Index taking a massive leg down. And funnily enough, if actually you were looking at this as a chart, it actually is a little bit funny because this would be your, if you're familiar with Wyckoff, this would be your distributive top, a little bit of a throwback right here, and then go fuck yourself after that. But I don't know. I don't think that you can actually read it like that. And again, you know, when talking about something like this, it really needs to be combined with something else, which we actually did see it combined with the price action yesterday, and that is what it led into that buys for lower prices. Anyways, funny rate, what do we see over here? We do see Finex posted a 0.5% rate. FTX posted a negative 0.06% rate, and everything else kind of at normality right here too. So we actually are seeing that. That's actually kind of significant for FTX and Finex, especially as you're getting paid. You're quite literally getting paid to hold longs right now. Now, of course, it's nice that you're getting paid to hold longs when price action dumps out about 3,000 to 4,000 bucks. Be even worse to actually have to pay for that. But you've been paying for it all the whole way fucking up as well. So fair enough. One day of glory, but actually within the context of a general uptrend, which to be fair, Bitcoin is still in an uptrend on all higher time frames above a daily, that is, then having a negative rate like this typically does signify at the very least a nice local low. So I do think that Bitcoin will rally off this current level. However, does that mean that we rally onto new all-time highs from this exact region? Well, that'll be a big focus of today's video. Anyways, into the actual price action charts we go. Let me just make sure that I'm recording. Okay, I am recording, and the microphone's working, so that's good. Get that out of the way nice and early, and maybe even it's time for a little sippy sip of motherfucker. I didn't prepare for this one. Oh shit, it's gonna be a long one. All right, that's all she wrote for me. Anyways, okay, so yesterday on the late day wrap up video, and also for the last few morning videos, we've been but we've been talking about a potential move to the downside if Bitcoin breaks that critical region on the 4 hour, which we did identify as 33,000. What was it over here? Yeah, 33,500 or 34,000 bucks, depending upon which time frame that you're using. That did drive targets down to about 28,500, of which that target I would say has effectively been met. Yes, technically speaking, we got front ran by about 300 bucks on Stamp. What about Mexico over here? Yeah, about 300 bucks as well. Close enough is close enough in this regard, though. A $300 move within the context of like a $30,000 to $40,000 price action is really not all that much. So what I do want to focus on right here is actually a very powerful signal, because if today's daily dildo does close above the top, or not above the top side, but above the bottom side Toronto band, haven't said that in a long time, then I would be looking for a greater bounce on this current, off of this current level right here, likely back up to about actually back above 33,000, very likely. Now, does that mean it's going to be a full-on reversal? No, there's really no talks of having a full-on reversal here, especially as long as you're below the 20 simple. If you're looking at this from a Troller band perspective, or if I'm just going off of our last breakdown point, that would be 36,500ish region. So it's got a lot of work to do. But for the time being, I actually would be looking for a bit of a pick-me-up off this level. Here's what the 12-hour says on this as well. Yeah, here would be your next big signal as well. If the 12-hour closes like this, or especially if it closes inside the bottom side Troller band, which is currently 31,135, then I would be looking for, that bounce to happen probably a little bit later today. So anywhere around 33,000 to 34,000-ish regions where I'd be looking towards. Let's just cut it right to the middle. It'd be 33.5. Don't need to be exact right there. Of course, it's not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, and I really want to get away from getting, the more spoon-feedy type shit, because seems to attract a very certain type of person, which is great, but that's not really who this community is focused on. This community is focused on free thinkers. Yeah, that's the kind of people that I want to be around. Anyways, okay, cool. So yes, we got this over here. Again, I want to see that confirmed on the next 12-hour closure. Obviously, that's going to lead into the daily, and as of the current moment in time for the daily, that same level to the downside would be 30,350. As long as that condition is met, yes, I would be looking for a multi-thousand-dollar bounce off this level. Again, that's not the same as a reversal, but a multi-thousand-dollar move is always a multi-thousand-dollar move now, isn't it? Anyways, looking at our momentum oscillators over here, MACD absolutely fucking cratering. Jesus Christ, man, that histogram, which I was kind of interpreting as a bit of a bullish reset coming into yesterday. That is not going to be the case, because what we have seen over here is actually the complete opposite of what you would have wanted to see if that is going to be the case. And that is, instead of the DMI plus going dominant, we see the DMI minus go dominant as the ADX strengthens. Not good, actually not good. So while I would be looking for a bounce of this level, I'd still be very cautious within this region. I do still think that it's possible for Bitcoin to head on further south towards 23 to 24,000 bucks. But what would be my criteria for setting up for a trade for that next? Well, the daily closing below the bottom side Toronto band here would certainly put that into motion. And I mean, looking at this right here is actually quite concerning. So to me, that actually is kind of a big deal. But at least for now, short-term timeframes likely do bounce. And then over the weekend, if things get sold into, then we can talk about problems coming into next week. But for right now, let's take it one small candle at a time. Anyways, do we have anything on the 2-day? 2-day come down to the 20 simple. Again, I'd probably be looking for a bounce off this level, and 3-day same shit as well. What about the weekly for especially CMEs, which again is going to be closing later today at 5 p.m. Central Standard Time? Yeah, this is also looking good, at least for a short-term bounce here. Could we come back down and grind this 9 exponential moving average out at the at the low $28,000 region first? Potentially yes, but this the same sort of interpretation of this is what I'd have is I'd be looking for a bounce off that level, probably back up into the low $33,000 to $34,000 region, and then game on once again if Bitcoin actually really does want to go and shit the bed here and come down another massive move. Anyways, all right. So should we talk about Buteral today? I guess maybe a little bit, because it was a big focus of the last few days. I did say that Buteral likely coming back down to 1150 if it did close a 4-hour lower low, which we did do yesterday, obviously. Now, I was biased to the upside as long as this condition was not met, but as soon as this one happened right here, which was a little bit after I recorded my video yesterday, that condition was certainly met, and then that initiated targets down to 1150, which was not only met, but actually overshot by quite a large margin right there. $100 and $1,100 name, so that is about a 10% move. Not bad. More importantly, though, on I guess this is a fucking 4-hour. Let's actually go to a daily for now. 4-hour and daily, both trying to hold on to the 20 simple right there. And I would be looking for bounces off this region, regardless of what else I'm looking at right now. However, what happens after that is a key critical component. And if what can I say about this? Okay, so there's a couple major things going on in Mr. Buterin right now that I actually do think is a little bit more important than Bitcoin because it's a little bit more obvious right now. So let's actually go into our regular charts over here. It's going to be easier to document, and then we'll go back to Bitcoin for a second, maybe more than a few seconds actually, as it deserves a lot of attention today. But where is my damn Ethereum? There it is. Found you, little shit fuck. All right, so as it currently stands, if Ethereum does actually put in a low right here and confirm a local low, well, I imagine just by looking at the chart, we're probably going to have hidden bullish divergence. Hey, is that true? That is true. Of course it is. It's 1, 2, 3 stabs actually. So that would, I shouldn't say of course it is. It sounding fucking arrogant. Apologies. That's not my intention. It's just, well, the thing is that there's really nothing in like these indicators that you shouldn't, or it's not that you shouldn't, but it's, I mean, everything that makes up these indicators is going to be contained within, price, volume, and time. Some interpretation of those three, maybe, in some cases, like not all of them are included. I've gotten like some very interesting messages in the past, like, excuse me, that one's not. It's like, okay, yes, just this is a generality. Okay, calm down. It's like, what the fuck? But we would have hidden bullish divergence alongside the 21 exponential moving average on the daily as well, and that would initiate targets back up to about $1,300. But here's the really important thing: while it would initiate a target back up to $1,300, it would not necessarily imply an actual bullish resolution on this current formation as it is. If it does start to close, maybe not above 1,300, but especially above 1,350. And you could maybe say above 1,300 for a closure, but I'd say 1,350 very obviously. Then actually we would have resolution on this, and this would just be your uptrend, higher highs and higher lows as it stands right now. So is it in, is it a potential? Yes, absolutely. Do we still have work to do? Yes, absolutely as well. So, well, do we have? I mean, start fucking buying, assholes. No, why not sell it? We can also play the downside too. Anyways, more importantly, how would you confirm this is a local low? Because I'm sure that's going to be a question. Well, you'd want to see a closure anywhere above the 21 exponential moving average right here, above that 1130 to 1150 target that we had from yesterday would be fine. And then I want to see tomorrow continue to the upside, meaning take out the top side or the high of today, whatever the high of today is, currently about 1191. So if that happens, yes, I would look at that as hidden bullish divergence being initiated, and then you can extend targets, for about $150 trade right there. So not bad, especially on an $1,100 name, which it's more than a 10% move. Not bad at all. Anyways, what else do we see over here? Historical volatility percentile is absolutely red as the fucking devil's dick right now. So what does that suggest? It suggests that we probably don't actually keel on over here. If I did have to call a further downside move from this, I wouldn't do it at least for today. At least for today and probably like the next couple days. Could it happen like coming into next week? Yes, we do see momentum oscillators pointed healthily to the downside right now. You could say daily Stokes coming down, daily RSI playing out bearish divergence right here. But I'd say that bearish divergence play has certainly played out, for the most part now. If you do have another drop down, the next target will be the 55 exponential moving average, which is going to be right around $900 right here. So that is actually quite the move again at these price points. I mean, this, if you have to be thinking in percentages. Also, daily Jewel did give a pretty powerful sell signal, not yesterday, but the day prior on the 20th, it looks like. So that was actually it wasn't like the actual high, but it was a closing high right there. Usually doesn't get that. It actually usually gets the drive down, but I'd put structure over something like the Jewel in a situation like this, just because structure does deserve the utmost importance, especially in a very strong uptrend like this as it is right now. But that also does mean that if we do see, especially I wouldn't say today's daily total closure below the 21, but any sort of a closure on new lows, aka destroying the upturn right here. So that'd be any sort of a daily closure below 1050. As that is your last higher low. Then we're going to talk about targets much further south. $900 would be the next target on the menu. However, I would realistically be looking probably somewhere down around like $700 if that were to happen. So again, that's well and far away, but that would be my criteria for setting up for another downside move. For now, it's bouncy bounce territory, could turn into reversal, but I'd really want to see things, how things operate over the next couple days, and that should really start to solidify the situation of, was this just a BTFD attempt, or is this an actual reversal? And it's time to just say our goodbyes to the old bull market. Now, do I think that that's what's happening? Probably not. It'd be historically not very relevant. As I have documented in the past, I think over here with this chart, just kind of going over past bull markets for Bitcoin. Or did it do it on this chart? No, maybe it was on BLX. Yeah, it was on BLX. Anytime that Bitcoin's closed on new highs on the weekly, it usually, not usually, but every time in its history, going all the way back to 2010, it has melted up for significantly new all-time highs, actually. You can see this first one over here closing on new all-time highs after the Genesis, which was a 46% move to the upside. See this one over here closed on new highs on the weekly, and then boom, melt up for 200%. Again, 200%, and that is, as you will see, on the lower side. Next one over here, another 2,900%. I mean, these are fucking astronomical moves. And by the way, for reference, this is when Bitcoin was trading like literally below $20, but it was too high then. Anyways, next one after that, we do see about a little bit more than a 1,300% move. After that, we do have this baby over here for another 600% move, and then a big old reversal after that one. But fear not, because Bitcoin once again closed on new all-time highs on the weekly, and then another almost basically 1,800+% move again. So all of these are well and far away from what we've seen thus far in Bitcoin's rally after closing on new all-time highs right here. To put this in perspective, we've seen about a 120% increase from closure to next high. Now, that would be certainly on the lower side if things were to top out here. Now, I think that it's still premature to say something like that, but it does kind of set into the bias that, hey, could Bitcoin come down here? Yes. Would I be looking at it as an opportunity? Most likely, yes. I mean, 120% versus, on average, what we see is like, 1,000 to 2,000% increase is certainly like way the fuck different. Doesn't mean that it has to be, but if I am going off of past history, which typically should rhyme with each other, as the saying goes, then I'd say that probably does turn into an opportunity. The question is, how low do we go here? Of course, we already did kind of hit that first target of 28.5. I would say, if things do come further south, it's not necessarily that I'd have like a set area like I'm looking for reversal here. It's more like there are several areas where reversal could be born about. The next one would obviously be the same areas that we've been speaking about for a while now, 23 to 24,000 bucks right here, and then you got 18,000 bucks, a little bit lower than that. 15,000 bucks does break to the downside, then sayonara, bull market. Go fuck yourself with some red dildos. Just shish kebab time, and it's all good. Just no tears, only dreams now, right? Anyways, as it stands right now, yeah, daily bouncing off the 55, completely fine. Again, whether I'm bullish or bearish, I'm probably gonna be looking for a bounce, probably up to about 33,000, 34,000 bucks. Again, do not confuse that with reversal. They're not the same things. But well, I guess no, we don't have any hidden divergences present on the daily for Bitcoin. So that is a little bit concerning, because I would like to see it on Bitcoin if it is going to be on Ethereum, if the whole market is going to do this, because the whole market typically does move together. We see daily Stokes still down and will remain to the downside as long as we are below 36,100 about. And now we're actually right at the edge of the bearish control zone. So you can see this, and actually I want to follow up on this one as well. This would be a really good time to reference this. So remember this trend line over here, the September lows, the December lows, and then once again the January lows. When this one broke, that really was the big signal, because that did happen when Bitcoin was trading 36,000 bucks. So not bad in hindsight. Powerful shit. Even though it didn't hold up, the information that it gives you as a trader is just as important. And this is actually what I want to spend a little bit of time speaking on, because a lot of people will look at something like this and say it must hold, and this is the way a lot of people think. Due to our conditioning in school and whatnot, it's like you find out the right answer, you do the homework, and like you did the equation right, so that must happen. No, it's just giving you an edge that you can base decisions upon, meaning that as long as this area holds, you play it as such, at least in the way that I look at things. But if this area breaks, then clearly something else is going on, and well, in this case, if something else is going on and the prior thing that was going on was a fucking super strong uptrend, then we're likely to see some downside action, which is exactly what we're seeing right now. So to me, this is this is actually quite lovely, because now I actually have a chance to make some trades once again. Jesus Christ, man, it's been a bit of a drought recently, not because there hasn't really been opportunities, but I haven't really been taking them, kind of due to that dog situation, but also kind of due to the fact that I've been looking to be more of a hodler and find some more long-term positions. So I do believe that we're probably going to be in the process of creating another one of those opportunities, probably within the next couple of weeks. It might even be this area right here, although I wouldn't rush to buy the first green dildo after a little dumpy like that. So fair enough. Anyways, anything else that I want to say around here? Yeah, HVP really fucking red as well. does that, what does that imply? It implies that we're probably going to create a range for a little bit. I don't think that Bitcoin is going to like dump out to new lows from this area today or tomorrow. It's very likely to take a bit of a breather here. And in this case, a bit of a breather would be some sideways and up. Again, I'd be looking somewhere around like 33 to 34,000 bucks, and then we'll come back to it after that. Moving on to the very low term time frame, see what we've got over here on the 4 hour. 4 hour did break the 200 simple and 200 exponential average, but I don't look at that as important as a reaction down around here. I'd be looking for a bounce off this level again. We do see that 4 hour momentum also is going to be turning back up here with any sort of a closure above 29,656 on the next closure, which is coming in 2 hours, 34 minutes and 55 seconds. So keep that area in mind. Here's what also I would say for if you are looking at the lower term time frames, any sort of a 4 hour closure back above the 200 simple and by extension the 200 exponential average, because they are pretty much the same right now, and that would be my signal for a short term trade looking for back up to 33.5, we'll call it, give or take $500 from that target, based off of a 4 hour. What else do we see over here? No divergences to be spoken about. This is kind of what you'd expect to see. Jewel is continuing downwards. Still saying hold your shorts, I guess. But fair enough. If it does close back above this level, I would still be looking for that bounce, and obviously that's going to play into the 12 hour and daily that we saw earlier as well. So that can have further continuation on top of that. How would I change around the levels here, though? Well, it's not necessarily that I'd change around the levels. Oh, hey, look at that! It actually pretty fucking close there. Sometimes that TA bullshit. Actually, if I would have taken it from the exact breakdown point, it would have been overshot a little bit. Fair enough. Close enough in this case. Sometimes that TA bullshit, does it actually work? No, it definitely doesn't. Use stars and Mercuries and I saw this girl on Twitter, I think it was, or TikTok or some shit, and she was using she was like doing moon analysis, like actual moon analysis, or like Mercury. What is that shit called? Astrology? Yeah, it's not shit. It's real. Fine. TA is real too. So if you don't get the joke, a lot of the time people relate technical analysis to that, which I don't know if I see the resemblance, but but it's pretty fucking funny that apparently she actually called this drop too, or at least that's what I'm told. But you gotta love the crypto space. Just it brings out the best characters. Anyways, yes. So 4 hour turning back up again, as long as that 29.6 was it? Yeah, 29.650. I want to have that number in my mind. Number is met, which currently we're trading about almost $2,000 above right now. 3 hour doing the same thing, same area as well, and actually below it, 29,000 is the magical number to hold above, closing in 32 minutes and 39 seconds. So that is certainly going to be clarified by the time that I post this video. And let's go to the buy hourly and see if this one's falling through as well. Same area, same fucking area. 30,500 is the magical number on this one, and then the hourly is going to also be popping up as well. So all lower term timeframes are in concert right now, and that does make me feel a lot more confident on looking for a bounce here. By the way, hourly has bullish divergence, so it's going back to the moon. Let's see, how high of a time frame do we actually have bullish divergence on? Buy hourly has it as well. 3 hour just will confirm it actually on the next tick, but Caretaker did not define this as a local low. Technically speaking, it's not on a 3 hour, but if you go down to a 2 hour, it very much is. So fair enough. He has very meticulous rules for that, which are actually the correct way of doing it. But I would actually supersede that in this case and say, yeah, it's probably going to play out on that area as well. And where does Bitcoin head up to? Like I said, 33 to 34,000 bucks where I'd be looking towards, and then come back after that. Hourly Jewel, given a little bit of a soft buy signal. What about the buy hourly? Nope, not there. not there just yet. So there we go. Anyways, kind of wrapping up the lower term timeframes, I'd be looking for a bounce here, and then we'll probably come back maybe later today, very likely tomorrow on Saturday or Sunday, and then talk about further continuation if necessary. 12 hour, what do we see right here? 12 hour did give a hold or short signal on the 16th of Jesus Christ, 16th of January. And this is what it typically does. And for the Jewel users out there, this is typically what it does look like. It's not going to it very rarely gets like the actual high, at least in my experience. It usually gets the momentous drive after that. So this is actually what you want to see right here. And as you can see, it takes a little bit of time to actually play out. I mean, this signal was given on the 16th of January, by the way. We are now on the 22nd day of January. So that's a lot of hodling, although it was within the concept of the downtrend. And by the way, remember yesterday, or sorry, 2 days ago, we confirmed that actual downtrend on the 12 hour. That was also another good what's it called? indication that we were going to head lower, and the bias to the downside was going to be the proper one. So what else do we have over here? 12-hour Stokes. What are we looking at right now? 33,500 would be the magical number to cross and back up. Why is that important? Because that is actually our structural last sort of well, I guess not necessarily on the 12-hour, but on the 4-hour was our structural last low. So what does that mean? If we actually do see 12-hour Stokes head back up and cross back up to the upside, then we would actually be able to extend those targets, not just to 33,500, because obviously that target would be met with that criteria being met, but we could drive it up for the 4-hour, probably back up towards actually about 36,000 bucks. And at that point, this really does start to look like a bit of a reversal. I probably wouldn't call it a full-on reversal until we get back above 37.5. But that actually would start to look very, 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 very good. So until that condition is met, I don't really look. You're not going to hear me talk about a reversal back up to the upside for new all-time highs or anything like that. But that's what I want to see before I do start to bring that back into the lexicon. What about the daily right here? I think that we've already kind of spoken about this. Yeah, 36,000 bucks is the magical number. Hey, that sounds a little bit familiar, because if Bitcoin does come back above that level, well, not only would we be making new around that prior high, but we'd actually be seeing momentum turn back up on the daily, and that would make me quite bullish as well. So Bitcoin's got a lot of work to do here. I do think that's going to it's going to bounce regardless of whether it's bullish or bearish ultimately from this level. But the question is, how does it respond at around the 33,500-ish region? If that turns into a rejection, then you got some bigger problems, and you can start to look for 23 to 24,000 bucks. If not, then actually it looks pretty fucking good. So that will only be revealed with time over the next, I'd imagine over the next few days. But for now, bouncy bounce territory, and then judge it. We'll say it like that. 3-day came down to the 21. Fair enough. I always look for bounce off of a region like this on a higher term time frame. So, I actually do quite like that. 10 simple, a little bit lower though. That does have me concerned, but I guess we'll just focus on CME's weekly closure a little bit later today. This one does look more problematic though, to be fair. It really wouldn't be asking too much to get this back down to like 23 to 24,000 bucks and actually fill the gap back down around here as well. Because keep in mind that one is still very much available. Now it's taken about, about a month now, and we haven't necessarily even tested it just yet, but this was a good example of a professional gap. And as you can see, gaps typically do get filled, but if it is, if it is like a runaway like this, it could take some time. And same thing for this 18,001 over here, although this one actually does have the potential to never be filled, because that one really is like, that is professional by fucking definition. Sometimes you will not see those filled actually. Anyways, Gap Boys rejoicing. Okay, cool. What else do we want to talk about? We're already 28 minutes into this. What the fuck? God damn, man. Well, it's just you and me, my TA nerds. Okay, let's go check out Bitcoin dominance really quick. Here's how this one's operating right now too. I'd imagine actually pretty damn good. You kind of have to be looking for a bounce off this level, to be fair, just structurally speaking. Yeah, I do think that it will bounce off this level, but is a reversal real? Yes, the reversal is real. Let's go check out some Bitcoin pairings. Mr. Buterin versus Bitcoin would be a good one over here. This is fascinating, actually. We would have expected to actually see this pop up. No, we're not seeing that. We're not seeing that at all. I still do hold on to this, and it's going to have a chance to do it. And technically speaking, in its current posture, and it will do it. Any sort of a weekly closure above this level, 3.669 million Satoshis. I'd extend targets a lot more to the upside. Now, if it closes below there, it's not a death sentence in and of itself for further upside, but you got a lot of things working for you right now. Hidden bullish divergence plus momentum also is turning back up on expanding volatility. I probably am going to favor the upside here, but I like to see that weekly closure first, and then we can talk about targets into the 4+ million Satoshi region. What about Litecoin Bitcoin? How did this one hold up? This piece of shit, or this piece of highly esteemed technology. Yeah, it does look a little bit reversal-ish here too. Had a chance to go lower, put in a higher low instead. Usually that's going to be reversal. What about Link USD? Linky Dinky, how dare you? How dare you do this? Actually, I still remain bullish on this one, at least in its current posturing. Weekly closure below $18.50, and I will switch on to bearish, but not for right now. I'd actually be looking for this one to pop back up, probably north of $21. Let's look at some more Bitcoin pairings. Theta looks really good here, actually. Wow, this one actually looks really fucking good. What the fuck, man? What the fuck? Hey, what the fuck, man? Why are you looking so good? I don't trade this thing. I don't really trade any alts. But I'd be looking for it to pop back up to 6,300 Satoshis and probably beyond. Looks good. DOT, whatever the fuck this thing is, same thing. Looks really fucking good here too. I'd be looking for it to retest probably around the prior all-time high, 58,000 Satoshis, and probably beyond. This is kind of what you're expecting to see in a situation like this for a strong altcoin market. It's very interesting to see. And what does this imply? It implies that we're probably not seeing like an actual reversal for the major US dollar pairings, that being Bitcoin, that being Ethereum, that being, et cetera, et cetera. We're probably not seeing like an actual reversal to the down. So we're probably just seeing like a medium term reversal, maybe a daily reversal. Although technically speaking, yes, it is a daily reversal already. Let's go confirm that statement. I just want to double make sure. Yeah. High, low, lower, high, lower, low. Yep. Okay. There you go. So fair enough. All right. Okay. Well. Let's go see what traditional markets are doing. 13.3 tree fitty. Very interesting here as well with with the major US indices actually closing on new all-time highs yesterday. Does that make me err to the downside on Bitcoin as well? No, it doesn't. This is not just likely to try new highs coming into next week. This is extremely likely to make new all-time highs. 13.6 would be my next target. Yes, we did hit the 272 target from yesterday at 13.450. It looks like. About 13.423.5. Close enough in this case. Short-term move down there, maybe comes back down around like 13.325 region, but ultimately I'd be looking for this one to retest the prior all-time high for this week and probably rally to new all-time highs next week. Moving on to SPY futures, very similar chart here, but not as strong as NASDAQ. This one actually can come down a little bit lower, 3,800, but I'd be looking for a bounce around there. And gold actually holding up okay during this whole thing. So it's very interesting to see cryptocurrencies the odd man out. I'm guessing that might have to do with some of the regulation talks, but at the end of the day, that usually doesn't reverse an actual market. Just creates a little bit of short-term panic in my experience. Looking at this right here, I'd still, today we will get the weekly closure, any sort of a closure above 1863, and I'd be at least short-term bullish for a move back up to 1900, and probably more medium-term bullish for a move back up to 1950. This is going to look like a higher low if that happens. While momentum also has turned back up, it would be hard to hate for myself. Is that pretty much everything that I want to talk about? Tesla, what about Tesla? Hey, all right. Looks like it wants to make new all-time highs. Yeah, this one's consolidated at a high level. Nice little ascending triangle right here. Just doing some bad mental math. I'd probably be looking towards $900. Jesus fucking Christ, man. Everything's going up and away. What about Dixie really quick? Yeah, Dixie coming back down, so that should probably help out Bitcoin a little bit in the short term as well. I'd still be looking for another move back down to 89.75, but do not confuse that with a big old breakdown. By the way, we have a 1, 2, 3 stab of hidden bearish evidence right there. Yeah, don't confuse that with a full-on breakdown. I'd just be looking for a retest of the lows and probably bounce there again. Okay, well, I think we've beaten these horses to death so far. Let's go check out Caretaker's ranges. Oh, nice. He almost got the low right there. Pretty damn close. Not bad, but what is he saying right now? Yeah, he's showing a range between about 34,000 and 28,000 to the downside. So you could effectively say that we got the 28,000 range to the downside. Now probably tests a little bit lower than 34. So it does kind of play into the short-term analysis for Bitcoin that I had over here as well. Okay, all right. I think it's time to wrap some bitches up. And actually, let's see what CMEs look like right now. Very, very different. Wow. Very, very different here. What? How could that be? Oh, all right. That's something that I'll have to look into a little bit later. Anyways, Okay, let's wrap this bitch up. Bitcoin holding on to the bottom side shoulder band as it is right now, which will drive further bounce targets if this one condition is met. If we see a daily total closure above the bottom side shoulder band, which is currently 30,550, then yes, I would drive targets towards 33 to about 34,000 bucks actually on the daily. However, we will be able to confirm this very likely a little bit sooner than that with a 12-hour closure. And if that comes a little bit above the bottom side shoulder band as well, or even just add it at 31,300, we'll call it, then yes, I would be looking for that same bounce to happen. Now, of course, if we go down to the low term timeframes over here, we can do that with the 4-hour as well, but I'll be using the 200 simple to judge that, and that is currently 31,800. And if that condition is met, then yes, I would be looking for a bounce back up anywhere around like 33,500 to maybe even 34,000 bucks, at which point, game on once again. I'd want to see things in real time, but that's going to also be accompanied by 4-hour Stokes turning back up with any sort of a closure above 29,650 on the next tick. 3 hours, same, about the same, although a little bit lower at 29,000 bucks, but both on the same side. More importantly, bi-hourly, same shit, 30,500 being the magical number, and then hourly we do see 29,373 as magical number here. So all lower term timeframes once again in concert, playing out a little bit of hit 'em, or sorry, not hit 'em, but regular bullish divergence on the very low term timeframes. So again, I do think that very likely Bitcoin will head back up at the very least to about 33,000 bucks, and probably play between about 33 and 34,000 bucks, and then probably look for resolution coming into next week. Now, there's one thing that would easily make me call a full-on reversal back up to not just the prior high at 40,000 bucks, but new all-time highs to, you know, the same targets that we've kind of overlaid before, and that would be this: any sort of a 4-hour closure above this 37,500ish level right here, or a 12-hour above about 37,000 bucks. If one of those two is met, then yes, I'd extend runs to 40,000 bucks and beyond. This is going to start to look really, really well. However, at the current moment in time, while I would be looking for a short term, and you might even call this a medium term bounce for, multi-$1,000 move, I would be cautious in that like $34,000-ish region. The reason being because I wouldn't necessarily be comfortable calling this just done just yet. And in fact, I'd actually put a little bit more focus on Mr. Buterin, aka Ethereum today, as this one's a little more obvious right now. The daily and 12-hour have a chance to put in a significant hidden bullish divergence, and it would be 1, 2, 3 steps. So that is usually the best variety in this case, but it needs to confirm a local low. How would it do that, or what would be the criteria for that? Well, first I need to see the daily close just anywhere above 1130, and then tomorrow take out the high of today's daily dodo, then yes, that would drive targets back up to about 1,300 bucks. If we use a lower term time frame like a 12-hour, we could do it here as well, I imagine. Yes, indeed, we do. We have the same setup essentially, and any sort of a 12-hour closure on the next tick at anywhere above 1,100 would be fine for me, and then closing the next one above, let's call it 1,200, we could drive targets back up to 1,350 and probably beyond, and this would just look like a continuation of uptrend as we do have higher highs and higher lows in progress right now. So with that in mind, regardless of whether I'm bullish or bearish, I am looking for a little bit of short-term and medium-term bounce off this level. However, the real test is going to be over the next few days, I imagine. And of course, we should also talk about downside resolutions. If this one closed on lower lows, then we got big problems here. For Mr. Buterin, that would be your 1050 tick right here, and that would drive targets down significantly to 750 would be the next legitimate target. For Bitcoin, the same regions would be, well, we can maybe do this on a lower term time frame. Yeah, if Bitcoin does close on lower lows here below 30,700, then I would be looking, and we could use probably a 4-hour for this. Let's just call it 30,500, easier to say as well. Then I'd actually be driving targets much lower towards 23 to 24,000 bucks over here. Yes, there very likely would be bounces along the way. I want to get rid of a lot of these, even though they are relevant. We actually do see Bitcoin playing off them. They're just muddling up my charts right now. But those areas of interest would be right here at about 27.5. I'd probably actually take this one away right here, and then I'd just gun for about 23 to 24,000 bucks. At which point I would be looking for another potential macro low being put in right there. But for now, bounce off this level, and then we'll come back to a little bit later. And with that said, I would like to wish you the best and the happiest. Until next time.